Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to episode 53 of the GVGCast. Happy to have you all here. I'm your host for today, Ash Pulseman, and I'm joined, as always, by my amazing GVG co-founders and good friends, Steve Bowling and Derrick Bittner, and we are here to welcome the weekend with you all, as usual. Guys, how's it going?
It's going good. It's Advance Wars Day, baby.
It is, and we'll be talking about that. Clearly, I put Advance Wars in the thumb because everybody's been waiting for this for a long time now. Even if I myself am not a big Advance Wars guy, I know how big a deal this is to so many people and how patient Advance Wars fans have been. So that had to clearly be a feature of today. Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but unfortunately, Advance Wars just has a rough time with release dates.
Yeah.
Because do you guys remember when the original came out?
No.
Wasn't that around 9/11?
It was 9/10/2001.
Yeah, okay.
The day before.
That both Advance Wars and the GameCube launched around that time frame.
Oh, right.
Not a great time for Nintendo.
No. I mean, the GameCube is fine, but the that kind of game.
Yeah, that is also
right
true.
around that was a bit unfortunate. But hey, it's a cute game. I've never really had a chance to check it out, even though I owned the first Advance Wars. I played a little bit, but kind of bounced off it because for whatever reason I didn't quite understand it. So I want to give it another shot, but I don't have time for this, especially because of the other stuff coming out. It's just not going to happen. But I actually have a question for you, Steve, because you were talking about this. How did you actually manage to do your search for the Battle Network Legacy Collection? That's such a
So I ended up searching for it, and holy hell, it's hard to find.
It is, right? I could not find a physical copy.
I can find it. Okay, so I should
anywhere
be
in
clear.
LA.
It's hard to find on Switch.
No, that's what I mean.
My
The
area
Switch
is
version.
lousy with PlayStation copies. Like, they're everywhere. I can find one no problem. But
Right.
Switch is impossibly difficult.
It's weird. I found only one PS4 copy around me, and I live in central Los Angeles. So one PS4 copy and no Switch copies. So I just said, you know what? Screw it. I have the other Legacy collections digitally because I reviewed them. So I'll just keep it up and get Battle Network digitally too. And I felt gross not having a new Mega Man release on day one. So I just I just said screw it.
How dare.
I know, right?
Yeah, what a bad Mega Man.
I know, that's why I did it. I was like, you know what? I don't need physical. It's just a plastic box and some box art.
It's also all in one collection rather than two separate ones. So.
Right. I hate that I want the symmetry of owning like the physical copy of the original and then not having this. I'm like, I want it so bad, but
that's how I felt. I'm hoping maybe I'll just grab them all physically down the line.
If any of y'all find it, let me know and I'll Venmo you $60.
Well, Bedron has the last one in their city. They just posted on the live audience, but yeah. I got the original Legacy collection and X Legacy collections both digitally, but haven't had a chance to really pick up the Zero one yet. I want to, but
it's great.
Just haven't had a chance, and now the same for this. So I'm tempted to get this one though.
I will say that the appeal of having them digitally for me is pretty big because of the fact that it is so many games in one collection. And so I know I'll go back to that card pretty often. And I don't know, man. I almost never use the Switch's card slot.
That's how I felt about it. Like I really wanted to get Theater Rhythm physically because it's like Theater Rhythm, and obviously I love Final Fantasy, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to be playing Theater Rhythm and going back to it for such a long time.
You want to just have it there so you can get to it. That's why I went digital as well.
Right.
For that sort of thing.
Steve, you were saying earlier that when Advance Wars came out right around the GameCube, that was a tough time for Nintendo. And fast forward to today, and it's a tough time for anybody with not much free time because what is going on with April? April isn't usually that packed for game releases, but my God, there's like Advance Wars and Mega Man and the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, Horizon Burning Shores, Zelda coming soon, Xenoblade 3 DLC coming next week. Like, slow down, everyone.
Right?
Space out your releases.
I wonder how much of this is because of Tears of the Kingdom coming out next month. Like how many plans shifted when Nintendo announced a release date for this? They were like, oh crap, like let's just move stuff out of the way. So I'm actually betting that we'll have April super packed, May relatively sparse, and June super packed.
It's.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's what it is right now. I'm gonna take a look at the release dates for that sort of thing. But yeah, it's. Can you blame them? It's nothing's gonna be able to compare.
totally.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Jay Fairmount in our YouTube chat, just to answer your question very quickly, do GVG make these shows available in actual audio podcast form? We do. We
Yep.
make every episode available later on during the weekend or early the following week. So we're on every major podcast service. So you can find us pretty much anywhere you want. And but yes, it is available for free in audio podcast form.
Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Yeah. Speaking of good stuff, we have an amazing sponsor for this week's episode, and that is, as always, the Game Orb. The Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu can be seen on the channel along with others, the Game Orb will also now be adding Splatoon 3, Super Mario Sunshine, and Fall Guys to the gaming collection. So be sure to subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description, and of course, as always, I have pinned a link to his channel in our YouTube chat. And as I always say, they have been supporting us from the very beginning. So if you have not shown them love, please go show him some love as soon as you can. Just like their content, subscribe, because they have been supporting us from the very beginning. So thank you, as always, so much to the Game Orb. Go ahead.
Oh, what else were you going to say, Steve? Ash? Because I was going to go back to Steve's previous point.
Go ahead and do that, and then I'll say what I was going to say after.
So I looked it up, Steve, and yes, you are correct, because the only major games I can see coming out in May is Redfall, Darkest Dungeon 2, and a new Amnesia game, which I'm not sure how big that is, and the remake of System Shock. Oh, and Lord of the Rings Gollum, but I know nobody's talking about that game, so I don't really know how big that is.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that.
But those are the notable games that I could find. June, however, holy hell.
Oh, yeah.
Etrian Odyssey Collection, Street Fighter 6, We Love Katamari Reroll, Diablo 4, say what you will about Activision. Let's see, Crash Team Rumble, Final Fantasy 16, Sonic Origins Plus, Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life,
Good
Ghost
Lord.
Trick Phantom Detective.
There is...
Good luck.
God, I forgot about something. Obviously, Street Fighter and Final Fantasy, but I forgot that Ghost Trick is coming out that same month. My God, there's just too much. And Ghost Trick I have to play, specifically because I know how much you love it, Derrick. Even
to be
as
fair,
much as the best Ace Attorney games.
It's such a good one. Oh, and the Master Detective Archives Rain Code. That new one by the Danganronpa people. But yeah, Ghost Trick is, you love it with Bisola.
Oh, I know. I'm definitely going to play it with her since we love playing the Ace Attorney games together. Yeah, and if Street Fighter 6, which we'll be talking about a little later, it just seems like there's going to be so much to dig into with World Tour mode. I can see myself playing it for a long time. There's just too much, you guys. Man. I mean, we're spoiled. Imagine being kids in the age of, like, Game Pass and all this stuff coming out. And, like...
I don't have to imagine. I could see my kids doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Only I have to imagine it. That's true. We're so spoiled for things to play now, though, and especially with subscription-based services like Fall Guys, like Game Pass. I apologize. I was telling Steve and Derrick earlier, I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep, so if I seem a little bit delirious or low energy today, that's why. So I apologize in advance.
I'd say more delirious right now.
Sounds good. I'm laughing at a lot of things that I wouldn't normally laugh at. But one thing, and this is what I was going to say earlier, one thing I absolutely will not laugh at is that I wanted to take a moment of appreciation for James Carter Cathcart, who is the voice of Gary Oak and the current voice of Professor Oak, James, and Meowth, as well as the dub's English script adaptation writer, because he's resigning from the anime after season 25 because he got diagnosed with cancer. So just wanted to take a moment of appreciation for James and just send all the love and condolences to him and his family, because fuck cancer. And thank you for all of your amazing work on Pokemon over the years, James.
Absolutely.
And that's where we're at. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and read out a couple of super chats, and then we will get on to the news. So first up, we have Disney Duncan with $2 saying Spider-Man is finally on Disney Plus. Right.
Nice.
All three Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man Homecoming. I saw this yesterday.
Is Spider-Man Homecoming? I did not see Spider-Man Homecoming listed. I still have not seen No Way Home, so I'm like, where's that?
So good, man. It's so good. Thank you, Duncan, for that. And next up, we've got Jaden Buck with $10. Thank you so much. With, as always, the latest Crazy Question Friday. Crazy question number 79. How weird does it feel knowing that we're going to be the first few generations of people to talk about video games in our golden years? I don't need to think about our golden years at all.
I mean, to be fair,
there's older gamers out there. There's always there's like famous grandmas that play a lot of stuff.
I was going to say that we're
we're
not the first. You know, I follow
It'll
a
be
lot
the
of people.
widest generation, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely the widest.
Sure.
But like, as far as gaming conversations go, you have to remember that even before us, and we're significantly older than much of our audience, like there are people who were in the arcades in the 70s and 80s who were teenagers already at that time, who are now like in their 50s and 60s and even as old as their 70s, who played a lot of games.
Right. I mean, I started with the original NES, but there were people older than me from the previous generation who grew up playing Atari and ColecoVision and everything. So we're hardly the first, but as you guys said, we are the widest generation. Yes, for sure. Thank you for that, Jaden, and let me never think about my golden years again.
I'm inching towards 40.
Oh, man. Me too, man.
It's terrible here.
Moving on, Disney Duncan is back again with $2 more. Thank you so much. With a classic matchup question: Link versus Spider-Man.
Link all day.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which version of Link we're talking about, but
I would disagree on that. I think every version of Link,
even
Triforce
Spider-Man. Heroes Link.
There's 4 of them. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But they always end up taking on some kind of God King at the end of the game. Like
that's true.
I'm pretty sure Ganon washes the Sinister Seven any day of the week.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to discount Spider-Man because I know how powerful he is, but I think I have to go with you, Steve. I think I got to go with Link.
See, I think I'd still go with Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Spider-Man's definitely much faster. Link is weighed down by all that equipment he carries.
Yeah.
Though it kind of disappears into his pocket.
That's true.
He has the speed. He also has much more strength. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Spider-Man though, but I could be wrong.
I think it's really close either way. I know Steve, you said Link washes Spider-Man. I think I'm going to take the middle ground. I think it's Link, but I think he'd be on his last heart container, or maybe like the last quarter of his last heart container. I think it'd be close. But thank you for that, Duncan. Next up is Rec PCQ with $5. Thank you so much, Rec. The Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC is coming out a day before my birthday, and I'm so hyped. XC3 is my favorite game ever, so getting this now is awesome. Well, that's super cool that it comes out really before your birthday, and we will be giving you a birthday shout out next week, of course. But yeah, what a great present, and I cannot wait to dig into that. I'm going to be playing through that as quickly as possible because I know we all want to do a discussion as fast as we can. And you know what? Speaking of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, let's move right into the news because, as you saw from our thumb, that is one of the main things we're talking about today. We got Daddy Rex on the thumb there because he's so hot now. So we have what I call Xenoblade-PALOOZA, and the first, of course, the main thing is that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed has gotten a new trailer and a release date, as we said earlier, of next week, April 25th, and this is going right to the top of my pile. As you guys know, Xenoblade 3 was my game of the year last year. And woo, that trailer. I assume you both have seen it.
I skipped it on purpose.
I skipped it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I watched a little bit with Amy, but I'm like, I purposely did not pay close attention.
Right. We're 4 days away from the release. I can just wait. So that's what I'm doing.
I get it. I think I'm just such a sucker for like super dramatic anime trailers that I had to watch it. And
I'll watch it after I've played it. But
I mean, the one thing I appreciate is, I forget the character's name, but the one that looks like Faye from Xenogears, he fights like Faye from Xenogears. I saw a comparison on Twitter. That is awesome. That as an old school Xeno fan, that makes me very happy.
They just need to get Sakurai in there to negotiate for Faye to be in Xenoblade.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Now, from everything I've seen and heard, it looks very good. However, I'm still not done with the main game.
I know, you're not done.
So I'm not going to be able to get to it right away because I was fortunate enough to be able to integrate the Wave 1, 2, and 3 DLC right in and just play them naturally. Was quite nice. And I'm stubborn on this one. I'm not going to rush to the end. I want to enjoy it at my pace and play it. I do all the side quests that I've been finding because there's some of these side quests wraps up stuff after the Ascension quests.
Right.
So I like getting these stories and whatnot. So it'll be there waiting for me as soon as I finish it. Like it's like just an immediate transition. So that'll be nice. But I mean, it's pretty great. And the funny thing is, this Future Redeemed led to me getting my, I think, one and only like what's the word for it? Notorious tweet.
Oh, okay. It went viral.
Yeah, viral tweet. Thank you, Ash.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because I saw a tweet by someone going by Actual Arrow on Twitter, saying, it wasn't a dream. The decade-long Xenoblade saga ends in 6 days with Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed, and he just showed all 6 portions of it: the Definitive Edition, Future Connected, 2, Torna, 3, and Future Redeemed. And I had an idea. It's like, oh, holy crap. Xenogears was supposed to be 6 games. It got 1. Xenosaga was supposed to be 6 games. It got 3. Takahashi finally got a 6-game series.
Right.
With this.
That's true.
And I know there's like pedantics out there where it's like, some of those are DLC and, just things like that. And like, yeah, you're right. But these DLC is also like 10 to 20 to 30 hours long. They're about the size of a full game for most other series. So
right.
Yeah. And it just, my mentions have been blowing up. I'm like, what? Okay, this is what it's like. That's kind of annoying. But
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And but it also like makes me happy. It's like, good on you, Takahashi.
Oh, absolutely. I actually had a tweet go viral earlier this week. Well, somewhat viral earlier this week, but for a much sadder reason. And it was basically just me saying, hey, remember when Nintendo released the very awesome Mario 35 and then yanked it away from us for no reason? And that resonated with quite a few people. But it's a much sadder reason than yours, Derrick. Much more tragic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think with this I think it's been indicated that the tale of this series, like Xenoblade Chronicles on the whole, is not done. It's just this story is done with Future Connected.
Right. Yeah, and it was so Future Redeemed. But speaking of Future Connected, that was one of the coolest surprises to me, because I know up to now, Future Connected has been seen as a little bit of a weird, not standalone, but a little bit disconnected, despite being called Future Connected. And actually, one of our own awesome patrons, Adam O'Sullivan, pointed out weeks ago a really interesting connection to me before any of this came out. I'm not going to say anything, obviously, but a really interesting connection between Future Connected and the original trailer for Future Redeemed. And so to have that Future Connected stuff finally seem to pay off and connect to the overall larger narrative, I think is really cool. And the name symmetry too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's really neat.
It's awesome stuff. Great to see this saga just maybe come full circle. I don't know, but I mean, I know there's X fans out there, and trust me, I'm one of you. Hopefully we get an X2. But at least this slate is clear at this point.
Right, exactly. And I mean, they have confirmed that that the Xenoblade series will continue, that it's not ending with 3. So whether that means 4 or X2, we got something to look forward to. But I wasn't as big on Xenoblade X, but I want those fans to get their due, because I do know about the cliffhanger ending and what the ending is, and it's genuinely great. And I want fans to have that payoff. I
will still defend X. I know you like it. I know fans aren't that big on it, but I will defend X, because it just threw people off, because the original was so story focused and X is so not. It is much more character and exploration focused, and I clicked with that for whatever reason, and I really enjoyed it. And if you get into those characters, dive into that, I think it really enhances the story.
Yeah, I think so. I never had the time to put into it, but I think I probably would have ended up enjoying it. Maybe not as much as the others, but I think I would have appreciated it, especially with that amazing ending twist. So, yeah, no, I hear you.
Also, Steve, be grateful you never had to do guides for X.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I did the guides for 2. X would have been, I've played X, and I never
had to. Did you do the Blood Lobster quest?
I did not.
I hate the Blood Lobster quest. That I remember spending hours going around New LA trying to find these damn lobsters, and you have to find 50 of them before the next 50 spawn.
Oh
And
no, that sounds
is
awful.
Maddening. And the thing is, then I had to go back through my footage because I was like, oh crap, this should be a guide. So I had to find them in the old footage, and I was losing it. Oh, I was losing it.
That sounds like it's genuinely almost on par with like dodging lightning 100 times in FF10, or even getting a negative time in the Chocobo race. That's worse, really, than FF10's awful like in-game mini games.
Yes,
that's a high bar. Hey, I believe you. That's a high bar, but fair enough.
High or low bar?
Well, that's
high bar of crappiness.
It's a high bar of frustration. Yeah, that's for sure. That's of course the Future Redeem stuff is not the only Xenoblade news we got. We've got a Noah and Mio amiibo coming. Not together, separately, which I absolutely want because I love both of those characters to death, especially Mio.
Do we know what they do?
Not yet.
We don't yet. And I imagine they must have some gameplay function. But
the game's been out forever now.
I know.
Just
so in my dreams, it just unlocks Noah and Mia for Smash. But
there you
go. And speaking of amiibo, we got a release date for the Pyra and Mythra amiibo. They're coming out on July 21st in a double pack. And each one you can scan into Xenoblade 3 to unlock their respective Aegis Sword skin for the Sword Fighter class, which is pretty damn cool.
I do dig that.
Yeah,
I got those.
yeah,
I got those immediately.
Oh, you mean you pre-ordered them?
Yeah,
nice. I missed my chance. Best Buy and GameStop already were out of them by the time I had a chance to check it out. But there will be more. They'll go back up on pre-order, so I'm not worried about it. But if you're not planning on getting the amiibo, no worries. Players will eventually be able to unlock the Aegis Sword skins through some undefined conditions after a future path.
Maybe through the challenge mode or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the other like legacy costumes and stuff.
I truly wish Nintendo wouldn't do this. Like amiibos offer almost no value beyond just being cool figures at this point.
Right.
Like give me something that matters when I scan these things into a game.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard.
I don't get me wrong. I have no issue with them taking the gate away, like that you don't have to buy the amiibo to get the skins. I'm fine with that, but I want the amiibo to do something more than just a sword skin in a game I beat 6 months ago. Like
that's totally fair.
Yeah, I get you.
Shovel Knight is a very good example of content that was really cool through scanning amiibo. It was like really you got like extra challenges that you could play through. Like it added actual gameplay content.
I'd even be fine with the Mario Maker 1 approach to amiibo. Like
True,
it gave me costumes for every amiibo I scanned, which was rad.
Yep, that's true. Completely agree with you, Steve. It's I wish they did more, but at least they are cool figures, and I doubt there will ever be another. Maybe Mio. She's fairly popular. I don't know if there will be a ton of Xenoblade 3 figures out there, though. So it'll be cool to have little figurines of them.
I mean, Pyra and Mythra got figurines.
That's true. That's true.
I think the 3 girls have the best chance. Maybe the guys probably not, but the 3 girls definitely.
Yeah. I want a Uni amiibo because Uni's the bus, as I always say, and I would love to have her in amiibo form. But so far, it's just Noah and Mio. Obviously, we're all big Xenoblade fans. We could talk about this for a long time, but you know what? We're also big Street Fighter fans. And that Street Fighter 6 showcase, now that we've had a little bit of time to percolate on it, we got details on World Tour mode. We got an arcade mode reveal, the Season 1 DLC roadmap. And then there was a surprise demo drop. We were hoping for an open beta, but it ended up being just a demo. And like you said, Steve, it's kind of disappointing. There's not much there in the demo.
I only got a chance to play a little bit of the arcade, the fights between Ryu and
Luke.
Luke, thank you. I always forget his name.
Because he's so plain.
Yeah. And the first thing I did was like, okay, let's see how tricky this is. Because I've been playing a little bit of the 30th anniversary collection and getting my butt kicked in there. I was like, let's see how this compares to the old ones. And I cranked up the difficulty to 8. Got my butt handed to me. I was like,
I bet.
Let's try 6. Got my butt handed to me. And it's like, okay, let's take it to 4. Okay, we're good. Sticking it to 4.
That's how I was too. I did 4 and I was all right. I did 5 actually, and I skirted by.
I think I could probably do 5, but I was so mad because I was almost about to beat it on 6, just about to unleash reuse level 3, and Luke blocked it and countered me, and I died.
Of course, of course. But yeah, you mentioned that we were chatting about it briefly last night, Steve, and I share your thoughts, man. It's a disappointingly thin demo, isn't it?
Right. Like, and the funny part is the game is good. What's there is good, but it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you can make your avatar in World Tour mode, which would,
but you can't get him any clothes.
But you can't. Oh, yeah, you can't do that, and then you only have Ryu and Luke to play as. So, and you can't even play them in arcade mode, which I kind of get. They probably don't want to have their stories blown out before the game comes out. But
right, I didn't expect anything like that, but it would have been nice even to just take a couple of characters online, like maybe even just let me do like 5 matches. I don't care, but what's there is so little that yes, it'll give you a taste for the mechanics, but it really doesn't like it. It would not sway me one way or the other. It wouldn't make me not want the game, but it wouldn't make me want the game either, because there's just not enough of it to make a decision.
Right.
I still need to take some time to try out the single player mode, because I spent a lot of time making my character. Then as soon as I finished, I realized, oh crap, I have all because I'm like, I don't know about this guy, but he wasn't a monster or anything, but it's also like I wasn't fully satisfied. But as soon as I finished, I realized, oh my god, I have all the materials I need to recreate Luffy in this.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go back and actually recreate Luffy, because he has the chest scar like from the manga and whatnot. So I'm like, I think he has his hair. I think I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try.
You could almost certainly do it.
I'm pretty sure the creative character is pretty robust, I gotta say.
It is.
Although I find it really hard not to make my guy look Japanese.
Yeah, that's true.
I struggle with character creators in general, not making characters that are just horrifying to look at. I hope that I can make something decent looking in Street Fighter 6's character creator. I sure didn't in the open beta, but I'm gonna start from scratch and really just set aside some time to dig into every option and just make a nice looking avatar if I can, because as we saw from the showcase, World Tour is a lot meatier than maybe any of us expected. There's a lot to this, and I want to make sure that my avatar, is good to go for the long term. I feel like I'm going to be playing it for a long time. I've always wanted genuinely meaty single player Street Fighter content, and we're finally getting that here.
Yeah. I don't think I think the single player looks great. I will be right back. Someone's at my door.
Oh, no worries, man.
Y'all keep talking, but Street Fighter does look good. I should probably not leave that person waiting though. I'll be right back.
No, please go for it.
Yeah.
All good.
But yeah, just having all that single player and the other, it's cool to check out. And I like how meaty you could get with it.
Yeah.
Like just so many different ways to just learn the characters. I'm down for that.
Yeah, same. I'm really looking. I mean, we're all really looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll be playing online quite a bit as well. I know we'll all be playing together and do at least a launch stream, but hopefully a couple of just streams where we're all playing together casually and having a good time. I know we're going to do it for one of our executive producer squad streams in June. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming, where if you join us at the executive producer tier, you can play games with 2 of us and the rest of your fellow EP, or with all of us and the rest of your fellow EPs twice a month. So that's something that's a lot of fun. But of course, we offer a bunch of different tiers you can support us at that are cheaper than that too. So, well, while Steve's away, let's go ahead and get into our next thing, which I don't think we'll have too much to say about this, but we talked about how much there is coming out right now and how crazy it is. And part of that is the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series. It has just come out on Switch and PS4, and I find it ironic how crushingly disappointed we all were when they originally announced them only for Steam and mobile. And now they're here, and I want to play them, but there's no time. No time whatsoever. No time. And it's one of those things. I'm probably going to wait, and you know what? There'll probably be a sale, so I can get it then, and I can just. Yeah. I want to play them. Half of those games I've never beaten before, so I want to do that. So I just have to give it time. It is really like I have to just pick and choose. Like I'm still working on Xeno. I'm
dip my feet into a little bit into Live Alive, and then we got Street Fighter and Zelda and Final Fantasy 16 coming. So
yeah. No, I totally hear you. I mean, I am very much looking forward to eventually getting around to them, because I think games like, and you touched on this, Derrick, games like Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3, games I never finished originally for various reasons, I feel like they're going to be a lot more fun to go through, even with 2's whack battle system. I feel like 2 and 3 and 5 for me will be a lot more fun to go through, because you've got these awesome quality of life features like up to 4x experience. You can gain quadruple experience to make grinding a non-factor. You could turn off encounters, which I really wish Battle Network Legacy Collection had. And yeah, there are all these great modifiers that you can optionally put on that just take out the grind, and who has time for the grind anymore, right?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I probably, when I play them, will keep them mostly the same, other than 2. 2, I will definitely use those options.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And 3, I think, well, they've all had their difficulty somewhat rebalanced, and 3, I think, probably has as well. I was watching a video by Final Fantasy Union last night, actually, just detailing every change between the various versions of all these games and the Pixel remasters. And one of the things was that in FF3, there are now recovery points. I don't know if it's save points, but there are now recovery points at certain landmarks. Because I haven't played that dungeon, so I can't say what they are. But yeah, there are now recovery points, and maybe even save points, that help make that last dungeon a little bit less of a notorious grind.
It is a gauntlet. Like, you will gain levels to that, and it still might not be enough. So
Right. That Alpha Lion in our live audience chat says Octopath fans love the grind, LMAO. You know what? I am an Octopath fan, and if I could turn on double, triple, quadruple experience, I would, because I'm there. I mean, the battle system is great, but I am so there just for the presentation and the story and the music and the characters. I would be so happy to cut out the grind and just make it about being strategic about it. Like, okay, the grinding's cut out, but how do I set up my party? Even without the grind, how, you have to, there are so many options for how you want to set up your party. So that wouldn't remove all the challenge from it. Well, I guess if you over level yourself, it would, but I don't know. I anything that takes away that busy work and grinding, I just don't have time for anymore. I love those options. So, but I get why they're not for everybody, and I get why they might not be the right thing for every game. So.
Yeah, but it's options. So
exactly.
There you go.
Well, I know Steve, if he was here, he'd be saying the same things. He's looking forward to trying them, but he doesn't have time right now. So I think we can go ahead.
We're kind
of
a broken record on this one, but hey,
yeah.
We're going to say the same thing about Advance Wars, which we mentioned before.
Right. Well, I won't, because I said I'm not an Advance Wars guy. I've never been much of a tactics guy, so I'm comfortable skipping this one. But yes, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is finally out after a long delay. And I'm just so glad that the people who worked on it, including my very own good friend James Montagna over at WayForward, finally had their hard work come to fruition and finally hit store shelves.
I hope it does well, just so Advance Wars fans gets new content, like allowing WayForward to have new, the ability to just make something new from the ground up would be nice.
Definitely. And I do like the aesthetics of Advance Wars. I love the character designs. Like, there are things I like about it. I just think, just tactics games have never really been my thing. But if there's a demo down the road, I'll probably check it out, just because I want to have a feel for it, I guess. But yeah, I don't really plan to pick it up, at least in the short term.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, the main character is voiced by Ash Ketchum. I didn't know. That's cool.
I saw the live audience talking earlier. Apparently they talk in their Ash voice as well. They're Andy.
That's cool. I love that. Vedran says the music remixes are so damn good. I believe you. I haven't even heard much original Advance Wars music, so I totally believe you. Well, I hope so I'm going to go ahead and skip one right now, because I want Steve to be here for the Sega stuff we're going to be talking about briefly. So just really quick. Oh, go ahead.
You know what? We could read out some more super chats.
You know what? Good idea. Let's
because I've seen quite a few come through, so we might want to try to catch up on that.
No, you know what? Good point. Let's go ahead and do that. So. Alan Wilkinson with £2. Thank you so much. If war is anime, then what is war good for?
Finding waifus.
Drama. Yep. The power of friendship. There you go.
There you go.
Waifus, husbandos, and the power of friendship. There you go. Next up is Blindman V2 with $2. Thank you so much, Blindman. Super psyched, been playing WWE 2K23 on Steam. So fun. It has been several minutes since I've played a wrestling game.
Yeah, definitely the same for me. I know the WWE 2K games have been a little rough around the edges, so hopefully, hopefully they're a bit better this year. But hey,
Right.
if you're enjoying it and talking about enjoying it, it's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last wrestling game I played with any sort of frequency was back on the N64. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what it was.
That was sort of like the golden
64.
age.
I think, yeah, I know a lot of people loved probably the same game I played on 64 that everybody seemed to love for a wrestling game. So, yeah, I'm glad that the latest game is living up to your expectations, Blindman. Next up, $5 from Mighty Ryan. Thank you so much, Ryan. Proto Droid Delta is launching in 1 week. Anyone on the panel hyped for this game? I need to look it up.
Heard of that.
What is this? Proto Droid Delta. Show the world the potential of AI in Proto Droid Delta, a fast and fluid 3D action platformer set in a beautiful, hopeful solarpunk world. I mean, this sounds like something I would love. If I had time to play anything else, I'd be pretty excited for this, I think. Huh. Yeah, I'm looking at screenshots now. This looks pretty damn cool.
Main character definitely has a Mega Man vibe to her.
Definitely, yeah. I like her design. Yeah, I love that. I love that dash she has. Like, it looks like a Mega Man X style dash, but in the 3D environment. Yeah, I was not previously excited about this, but now that I know what it is, yeah, I just don't have time to play it straight up. just don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a Kickstarter game, so
okay.
There you go.
Nice. Next up, $5 from RecBCQ again. Thank you so much. Going back to Xenoblade 3, if you were avoiding spoilers, which we are on the show, of course, at least know that Rex and Shulk got even hotter than the last trailer, LOL, and that is true. Rex especially, I would say. He's looking fine, man. He just got a glow up. Even more than
worked out.
Yeah, even more than Shulk. Like, Shulk looks quite different, but
I don't know the specifics or anything like that, but I did see somebody mention that their design seemed to take influence from kind of their mentors or people they looked up to. And with Shulk, it's Dunban, and with Rex, it kind of seems to be Zeke. Maybe a little bit of Vandam as well.
I did not notice that. That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, now that I see it in hindsight, the Dunban reference is unmistakable. Wow, that's really cool. I love that. But yeah, of course, we're not talking about spoilers here on the cast, especially for people who haven't played the regular Xenoblade 3 like you, Derrick. So we're going to move right on to Disney Duncan's next super chat for $2. Thank you so much. Another matchup, Lionel versus Malboro. I think I got to go.
Malboro.
Yeah, Malboro.
The status effects.
Yeah. Lionel has overwhelming strength, but if Malboro can get a bad breath off, it's over for Lionel. It's stopped, confused, charmed, poisoned, blinded. Once you get hit with all of bad breath status effects, there's pretty much no coming back from that unless you have a healthy party member who can throw you a remedy or something. And it affects the whole party. So even if Lionel had friends, their friends would be status effect to hell and back too. So
and they're pure physical. They're not getting back from that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely Malboro for sure. All right. Next up is RecBCQ again. Thank you so much for your generosity. Another $5. The game you love is getting a sequel / spin-off anime. It's a slice of life in peacetime. So what game would you choose? I obviously choose Xenoblade. Mega Man Legends.
Oh, that'd be good.
Mega Man Legends, just an anime series of the Bonds being the Bonds, and Mega Man's family just being Mega Man's family.
I mean, you got the Bonds being Team Rocket for each episode for Mega Man. Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
That's a good idea. GCMO Chaos also with a good idea. Kid Icarus.
Oh, absolutely, especially based on Uprising.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got that with those anime shorts.
We did, but we need more.
We need more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have to just agree with those. I honestly can't think of anything that much better.
Yeah.
Like, I want that.
It's funny, going back to Malboro versus Lionel, I Eat Dragon says, for a second, I thought Ash was talking about the cigarette company. And you know what? Even if I was, Malboro would still win, because if Lionel's smoking, maybe not in the short term, but if Lionel keeps smoking, Lionel's done in the long term. So
it will happen.
Can just survive. Yeah. All right. Next up, JG Hayes with $10. Thank you so much. Spring has been crazy good for gaming. We had Resident Evil 4 Remake a few weeks ago. Advance Wars came out. Tears of the Kingdom around the corner. And now Xenoblade DLC next week. It doesn't stop, LOL.
No.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about. We agree with you.
Your break is next month, but you'll be playing Zelda probably.
Yeah.
So.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Good luck.
Yep. Next up, Disney Duncan is back yet again. Thank you so much, Duncan. $2. Redeads versus clickers. Clickers. It's got to be clickers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, redeads are terrifying in the way they like latch onto you and like suck your health. Okay. The clickers just rip out your throat and kill you immediately.
But the redeads are also able to stun you for a little bit, so...
That's true. But I just feel like if a clicker gets a hold of you, it's over, especially if you don't have a shiv. So I think I got to go with clickers, but to be fair, redeads do have that stunning ability. Yeah, but for me, it's clickers for sure.
Yeah, probably clickers.
Yeah. Next up, NMG with $9.99. Steve, where are you?
I know, right?
Thank you so much, NMG. With Advance Wars and the Mario movie. Oh, there he's back. He's back. We've been stalling with super chats.
All right, let's get these.
Yeah. Next up, NMG with $9.99. Thank you so much. With Advance Wars and the Mario movie, April has been an awesome month. I also finally got to play GameCube Chibi Robo, and it was so good. Ooh. Can't wait for what the rest of the year has in store.
Very cool.
We all agree with you.
I've not been able to play Chibi Robo on GameCube, so awesome.
The only one I played was the one nobody likes, which is Ziplash.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I
thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. All right. Oh, this is perfect timing, Steve.
Well, he left already.
Oh, he left again? Jeez. All right.
I don't know what happened, but he left.
All right. Well, then,
I can help, though.
All right. Kaiser the Fighter with $2. Thank you so much, Kaiser. Frieza from Dragon Ball versus Megatron from Transformers.
Frieza.
I think it's Frieza,
you blow up
right?
a planet. And if you read Super, caught up on the Super manga, thank you, Brandon Bowie. Definitely Frieza.
Yeah, because Frieza gets like an upgraded form later on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I think
not
it's
even
pretty
close.
To be fair, I don't know a lot about Megatron's powers, but I feel like it's still Frieza for sure.
It's definitely still Frieza.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Nautical Noe with $10. Thank you so much, Noe. I don't recognize your name in chat, so great to have you here. Thank you. Are you the type of people who play remakes only to then dive into the OG games and appreciate how good the remake did? Currently playing through the OG Tony Hawk games after adoring the remake of 1 and 2.
No, because I don't have the time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. I can't say that I've ever done that. Or maybe I have and I'm just not thinking about it, but
I don't think
generally, no.
I don't think there's any time I actually did that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. I got nothing.
Yeah. And then one more from Trace Hall for now. Thank you so much with $2. Love from Tennessee. Well, thank you so much for sending your love, and love right back to you in Tennessee.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. Well, good.
Well, I was just going to say, just to have something offhand, earlier, Purity Chalice mentioned, have you seen Maximilian Dude's Avatar?
I have not yet, no.
It is a monster.
Is it really? I've got to see it. I've got to check out his video later, because I watch a lot of his videos, but I haven't seen his latest on Street Fighter 6 yet.
Yeah, it's something else.
I am looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm at the end of my rope in terms of trying to stall.
I mean, I guess we could do the other small bit of news.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know what, Alpha Line, that's a really good point. Had that happen to me with Metroid Zero Mission versus Metroid 1. I didn't specifically go back to play all of Metroid 1, but I have played the original since, and it made me appreciate even more how incredible a remake Zero Mission is. Same with Samus Returns and
you
Metroid
only have
2.
to play like 5 minutes of the original Metroid to appreciate what Zero Mission does.
Exactly. All right. Well, we have two more little things to talk about, and I'm going to skip just because the last thing I really want Steve to be here for, if possible. So this isn't too big. We don't have much to say about this, but several weeks ago, we reported on something really messed up that Atlas did, and they did not credit their translators in the recent ports of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. But we're happy to report that they have fixed that. Both ports have been patched, and they add the translator credits back into the staff credits. So obviously they should have been there in the first place, but we believe that if we report on something negative, it is only fair that we report on any positive that does come out of it. If we report on a mistake and someone fixes that mistake, it's only fair that we mention that. So good on you, Atlas/Sega, for doing what you should have done in the first place. Yeah, you fixed it though. All right, well, maybe Steve will get here for this, maybe he won't, but the last thing we have to talk about is the Nintendo Switch Online SEGA Genesis update. A couple of days ago, we got Pulseman, Kid Chameleon, Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition, and Flicky. And I think, obviously, the big star here is Pulseman.
Flicky. Oh,
Flicky. Well, fair
no,
enough.
I'm kidding.
There are people out there who love Flicky, though, to be fair. But Pulseman, this is not a game, I believe, that it only came out in the US via the Sega channel, kind of like Mega Man: The Wily Wars. And
we eventually got like virtual console releases.
Yes, it did eventually come to virtual console, but that was way back in 2009. So this is the first, this is the only way that Pulseman's been playable on a modern platform since then.
I picked up Pulseman before the Wii eShop died, or Wii Shop died, so I had it through there, and I played a little bit of it. And the reason we mentioned Pulseman is because it's an early Game Freak game. And its design actually inspired a bunch of Pokemon later on. But yeah, Pulseman is an interesting game. I wouldn't go out of my way to say it's amazing or a forgotten gem, but it's interesting history for Game Freak.
Right. And it also, I mean, it definitely has a particular style to it that I haven't really seen replicated in a lot of other Genesis games. Like, even if it isn't necessarily on par as a game with something like Gunstar Heroes, I think it definitely has that sense of style that the best looking and sounding Genesis games had, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just a cool looking game. I played a little bit of it last night, and it's got some interesting mechanics to it. As you said, Derek, nothing spectacular necessarily, but it's just cool. It's got some great pixel animation, some groovy music.
Good history.
And a really interesting history with Game Freak.
And Steve, since you're here,
you're back.
Thoughts on our 4 new Genesis titles on the NSL?
We were trying to stall so you could be here for the Genesis discussion.
So one, I'm sad that we got this version of Street Fighter before we got like a proper SNES version.
Oh, right.
Only because, and I have to be clear.
What is wrong with this version? I honestly don't know.
In the US, Nintendo ships the 3-button Genesis pad for Nintendo Switch Online. In Japan, they offer the improved 6-button controller, so you could play Street Fighter with proper controls. I
actually had the 6-button controller when I was a kid, so I was able to play it properly.
Right, but like most kids didn't. Like, we all had, Genesis kids, like most of us, if we got it early enough in the console's lifespan, we had the 3-button, and you had to go out and buy a 6-button. So given that my parents had the option of buying me a 6-button Genesis controller and Street Fighter, or just Street Fighter for the Super Nintendo, they went with the obvious choice. They're like, I don't have to buy this fucker a new controller. But
I love how that's how they refer to you.
Dude, trust me, if you knew what I was like as a kid, you'd understand. Remind me, what are the other ones? Because Street Fighter was the one like I zoned in on completely.
Flicky, Pulseman, and Kid Chameleon.
Kid Chameleon is one of those ones that's way underappreciated.
It is. I really liked it as a kid.
A hidden gem. I remember one of the things that I loved is when you would die, like some bad voice would be like, die, and Kid Chameleon would be like, you die. Even though he's literally in the middle of dying. There were also like tons of secrets in that game. Like there was a way to warp to like nearly the end of the game from the very first level, and there were loads of levels. Let's see, Flicky. I'm not super familiar with Flicky, but I know it has a following and I know people love it. And Pulseman, I vaguely remember, isn't Pulseman Game Freak or something?
It is.
Yeah.
Early Game Freak.
And it was never originally released in the US.
Which is why I don't know it beyond that little bit of info. Really good releases for the Genesis. I like that we got a batch of 4. I like that they were kind of shadow dropped. Like Nintendo wasn't like, hey, several months in advance, we're going to add these, and then we have to wait for no good reason. Right. Keep doing that, Nintendo. Just drop a tweet and be like, here's some games.
They hype up the N64 titles, but they just shadow drop the Genesis titles. And the Genesis titles tends to be pretty good.
Right.
They really do. They need to just, again, I'm not a fan of the approach Nintendo takes with these. I hope that as the service evolves, because I'm hoping, 1, it will follow us to the next console, whatever that is. And that 2, they will just open the damn floodgates on this stuff at some point. Like, I will stay subscribed if you just give us all the games. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to unsub and then wait.
Right.
Like, if you just open it up, I'll keep playing them forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, John did a great video on like how many different ways you can play Mario, like arcade Mario on Switch Online. And now I got to check those out. So yeah, Genesis drops are good this month. I'm really like pleasantly surprised. I just wish we could get like Super on the SNES as opposed to like Champion Edition.
That's better across the board. So even just the regular Street Fighter 2 Turbo is better across the board, I would say, than Champion Edition. Not to say that Champion Edition is bad, but it's just compared to the SNES version of Turbo or Super, as you said, Steve, it's just not as good.
Exactly.
Straight up. Yeah. Also, just to correct myself, and I mentioned this earlier, but Pulseman did come out in the U.S. via the Sega channel, like Mega Man: The Wily Wars. It was
that doesn't count.
It barely counts. It barely counts. And I did play a little bit of Kid Chameleon last night, and it brought me back so hard to the 90s because that intro, I don't know if you remember it, Steve, but it's like, but there's one kid who's too tough to beat.
Oh yeah,
Chameleon.
I remember.
I'm trying to feel good.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere I've got my
and he's got the sunglasses and the 90s look to him. It's ridiculous.
He's such a prototypical 90s cool kid.
Like, oh yeah.
100%. All right. Well, that does bring us to the end of our news stories for the day. Let's go ahead and knock out a couple more super chats because one of them does involve you, Steve, and then we'll move on to our Patreon topics. So first up, we've got Trace Hall with another $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Stall question because Steve's gone. Thoughts on Concrete? Concrete's fine. Concrete Man is one of the most fun boss fights in Mega Man. Like Mega Man 9 has a great boss fight with him.
I find it to be pretty solid.
The Roman version is objectively better, and if you don't believe me, look it up.
Nice. All right, and then Disney Duncan with $2 more. Thank you so much. Asking, let Steve hear my previous two questions. So really quick, Steve, they were matchup. They were matchup questions. Frieza versus Megatron.
Oh, Frieza.
That was Kaiser the Fighter. That was Kaiser the Fighter.
That was Kaiser. My bad. Yeah, my bad. Okay, well, we agree. Frieza anyway. Then here's Duncan's actual question. Redeads versus Clickers.
Redeads, because they're already dead. Like, Clickers technically aren't dead.
Yeah, but they're so much more vicious. Like, if a Clicker gets a hold of you, you're done.
I mean, arguably, if a Redead gets a hold of you, you're done too. Like, if we're talking about your regular rank and file person and not the hero of time, like, that Redead's getting you. And that Redead has the ability to temporarily paralyze the hero of time, the most courageous person on Earth.
Derrick,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think if whatever it is that scares Link enough to freeze him, it might just give me a heart attack and kill me.
Fair enough. Well, I think I'll stick with Clickers, but I appreciate your argument, Steve. You gave me a couple of things I hadn't thought about. All right, and then one more, Lionel versus Malboro.
Oh, that's a tough one because Lionels are not, like, they're big and they're tough and they're sturdy, but Marlboros are like deadly poisonous, aren't they?
Well, yeah, that's
every status effect.
I'm going to go with Marlboro on this one because I don't have anything that proves that a Lionel could resist a status effect.
It's like a warrior in Final Fantasy going up against a Lionel, and they're screwed. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hit with every single status effect, there's just a Lionel can't come back from that. So yeah, we all agree. Cool. Thank you for all those super chats, everybody. Let's go ahead and move on to our Patreon topics for the week. As a reminder, patreon.com/GVGaming. If you support us there, you can suggest topics for us to discuss, like the ones we are about to discuss right this very moment. And Derrick, let's go ahead and start with you, man.
Gee, I wonder why you chose me first. It comes from...
I didn't think about that.
It comes from Jared Edinger asking or saying, now that the Battle Network collection is out, we are hopefully one step closer to a Legends collection. If and when that happens, what special features and extras would you want it to have? Well, I think at the very least, we'll likely get the usual suspects. We'll get we'll get the artwork, we'll get
gallery,
the soundtracks. That stuff will absolutely be in there. And with the other collections, we've got we had that boss rush idea in X, and I forget what Zero did for their extra thing.
It was called Z's Clash, I think. Z Clash or Z Striker.
Yeah,
basically a time attack mode.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they could make the mini games standalone to play, like the races and whatnot, in, Legends One or what have you, or new ideas for that stuff. Though I kind of doubt it. Honestly, we know what the Holy Grail is as far as special features for a Legends collection is. It's the planned demo. If they actually uncovered the demo for Legends 3 and included it in there, it would suck because it's like, oh god, we were so close, but it'd also be awesome because there'd be a chance for everybody to actually play it.
God, that would be wonderful. I don't think they'll ever do that, but that would be so cool if they did.
It's the dream.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I guess, I mean, you basically went over most of it, Derrick. I guess the one thing I might add, and this kind of goes back to the quality of life features we were talking about the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Some of those weapon upgrades, especially later in the game, are stupid expensive. They require so much grinding for Zenny to get everything. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be a little hard to get in terms of making more expensive, but how expensive they are currently is just beyond the pale. It's stupid how much, especially the last upgrade for the Shining Laser. Dumb. So maybe cut down, maybe modify the prices of some of the weapon upgrades and power ups and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Steve?
Man, come on now. I can't think. You guys nailed.
Have you played Legends?
I've played Legends 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love them, but I mean, you guys pretty much nailed everything I would want.
Yeah.
Just give me like HD remakes of Legends 1 and 2 and I'd be happy. And Tron. Like if I just got them in HD, I'd be more than happy to play them.
I do like Acebreaker's suggestion of modernize a bit and get right stick camera control, which you definitely do not have.
That is fair. I wasn't thinking about
having analog control and the in right stick camera control. Probably a few more.
That's true.
You know what would be even more than the ability to, maybe make the prices a little less rough, Ash. I would actually take over that the ability to switch your sub weapons at any time.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So you don't have to go back and visit roll just to switch. That's a really good one. I like that. I like your idea, Steve, and especially if they retouched the textures and actually upgraded them a little bit, that would be even cooler.
Oh yeah,
and maybe had an option to switch between the two, but
it'd also be nice not to have that PS1 polygonal jank where like everything is kind of shimmering and moving because the PS1 just kind of was like that.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, I think all collectively we've all come up with some stuff we would love to see in a potential Legends Legacy collection. I don't know if I think it's going to happen. I hope it does.
It's just not.
I don't think so.
I mean, when you think about it, that's a 3-game collection.
It is, and it's so, as much as the people who love it. It is such a cult niche sub-series of Mega Man.
I think
it's not even. Yeah,
I think they're more likely to get like straight ports that are barely improved, if at all.
I think so too, and that kind of that's actually what I was going to say for Top Dog's question in our live audience chat. Asking question for Mega Man experts: do you think a Rockman World Legacy Collection is possible? No, but I do think they may eventually, some or all of them, may eventually get ported to NSO Game Boy. Now that that's a thing, but no, I don't think we'll see them in their own bespoke collection. Definitely not. All right. Well, I think anything else you want to say on that, Derrick?
I was just trying to find any like sales data for like how well did Legends sell, and I can't.
Not well enough, apparently.
Find anything.
It's.
I mean, it got a
niche.
Sequel, but
yeah, compared
I feel like you had to do something
X,
better than some of these games, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Battle Network dwarfs pretty much everything else in terms of overall popularity. I mean, of course, except for Mega Man 11 and Mega Man 2, but the Battle Network series collectively, I think, is probably the most well-known across generations and popular. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that, Jared. Next up, Steve. What's your topic, man?
My topic this week comes from Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, who writes, do you guys think Metroid Prime 4 will be a Switch exclusive release across both Nintendo Switch and Nintendo's next console, or skip the Switch entirely and be exclusive to Nintendo's next console, and why? And I've talked about this a little bit on our Patreon exclusive podcast and here, but I figured it's always fun to talk about Metroid. And Prime 4 has been missing in action so long that I will map out two distinct possibilities. One is that it is this year, which I would presume is the final year of the Switch's holiday game. That Nintendo is just going to, sometime after June, blow the entire lid off this game and just be like, yep, November or December, this is when you're getting it. Thank you very much. And that's like the swan song for the console, like the last real AAA effort we get. Or I could see equally realistically Nintendo making this the cross-gen thing. Like, hey, for all of you 100 some odd million people who bought a Switch, we're not leaving you out in the cold on Metroid Prime. We promised it, so here it is. But it is better on this. Whatever this is, it's better here. It worked for Zelda. It'll work for Samus. Like, and I think they're equally likely scenarios. I think that if Nintendo's next console is in some type of iteration on the Switch, then Nintendo can do whatever they want. They can just drop it on the current Switch and say, hey, it will play better on this next thing whenever we want to announce it. But if the next console is not a Switch, they're just doing something different again, then I could definitely see it being like a cross-gen release where they position it the way they positioned Breath of the Wild 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with Twilight Princess as well. Not that there were as many technical differences there, but yeah, I mean, they've shown a proclivity for doing this in the past, and I find myself agreeing with you, Steve. I don't think it's going to be next gen only because they've been promising Prime 4 for Switch for so long now. I think it would either be the last major exclusive release, or more likely, I agree, I think the likeliest option is cross-gen.
I cross-gen does make the most sense, but the other thing I'm wondering now, would Nintendo set up Prime 4 as their big holiday game? And that's... I think, normally I would say no, but with how well Dread did and how much the excitement is for it, I think it has potential, especially because I think Prime Remastered did very well. So this could be the big push that Metroid needed to become A tier rather than B tier as far as Nintendo sales.
Right.
Hard to say whether it'll happen or not, but if it's not the big holiday title this year, then I think it's a cross-gen game. That pure and simple.
Yeah. Sounds like we all generally agree on versions of the same conclusion for that. But
yeah, basically.
I just can't wait to see this game actually manifest, because we've been hearing about it for so long. It almost feels like it's just vaporware. Obviously it's not, but it's been coming for so long that it's hard to imagine it actually being a real thing and it's something we can play eventually. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how it turns out and what it looks like, and just really looking forward to seeing it. All right. Well, our last topic of the day is, of course, mine, and this week's comes from Vedran. Thank you so much, Vedran, asking, what are your go-to sweets and desserts? And if you know me, you know I love my sweets and my desserts. Sugar's one of my favorite food groups. So for me, the goat sweet / dessert is ice cream. I could happily give up cake, cupcakes, any of that stuff, even pie. I love pie, but I could give up any of that if I could just have ice cream and not gain weight from it. I love,
but
dream
even world
if
here.
Even if I could only eat one more dessert for the rest of my life, it would be just good ass ice cream. Like, I love Ben and Jerry's, but there's a local brand here in California called McConnell's, which is next level ice cream. And for me, nothing beats really good ice cream when it comes to desserts.
I've not talked to Amy about really good local ice cream around here, because I love ice cream as well. It's not my top, amazingly. It's close. It's damn close. But there's a local ice cream place back when where I grew up that I loved. It was so good, but it was seasonal for a long time, and it was like, that part sucked, but man, it was really good when you could actually get a hold of it. And it always had very interesting flavors. I liked that like each week it changed up, so you had sort of the normal flavors, but also some oddities that were actually sounded good. But yeah, so I love my ice cream. I could really eat it very easily, but I find cookies to be the real addictive snack.
I get
for
that.
me.
I
Especially nice, soft, warm chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh,
just
Toll House.
Yeah, just it's so hard not to eat them all. It's just like it's like you don't even notice it. It just goes through so quick. You just go through it so quick. And I remember I went to a Ren Fair once, and they had a setup. They had one of the stalls was selling fresh baked chocolate chip cookies with milk, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that. It was delicious.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm probably with Derrick on this one. Like, it is again an extremely close race. Like it would be, it's like picking your favorite child, man. That's tough. Because I do love like a good actual like high quality ice cream, and I love to pair a warm cookie with ice cream. I was going to
say,
like,
with our powers combined, we have the ultimate dessert.
Yeah. And I was initially going to say brownies, but brownies are too limiting. Like cookies, you can make cookies that taste exactly like brownies if you know what you're doing. So I would have to agree with Derrick, because in my mind, ice cream is delicious, but cookies in a weird way provide comfort. Like the warmth of them and how they taste, fair. Like it's cozy. It's like a cozy dessert. Damn, now I want a cookie.
Right?
I guess like piggybacking off of that, I do have to give a shout out to one of my other favorite desserts, cinnamon rolls. Talk about warm and comforting. There's nothing I like for breakfast
too often.
Me neither, because I would be clearly in trouble health-wise if I did. But and to that point, Alpha Lion says, "Enjoy that early onset diabetes, Ash. Hope it's worth it. LOL." Because me saying sugar's my favorite food group doesn't mean that I eat it with reckless abandon. I know that I can't do that, so don't worry. But no, there's nothing I like for breakfast more than coffee and a really damn good cinnamon roll. Like fresh out of the oven or fresh out of wherever you like if you buy one from like a cinnamon roll place. We have a place called Cinnaholic here in LA that I don't go to often because again, they're terrible for you. But there's one that they do that's like the usual, like really good frosting with the cinnamon and stuff, but they also have strawberries and blueberries on it. And it's just mind-blowingly good.
Oh, you're killing me, man. I'm hungry.
I know, right? It's really
I watch British baking show, and that show can sometimes just kill you with how good some of that stuff looks. It's just it's not fair. Though I will say probably my number 3 is a really good pie. Pies are excellent.
Pie and vanilla ice cream, man. Hot pie and cold vanilla ice cream swirls together. Oh,
now I know I'm not eating dinner tonight. I'm just having dessert.
I know. I haven't even eaten
I need to keep
today.
an eye out for when strawberry pies are in season, because I haven't had a strawberry pie in so long.
Oh man.
So
good stuff. I haven't eaten yet today. I don't know if I should have picked this question. Just now I'm even hungrier than I was.
now you're going to eat everything today.
I have regrets. But no, thank you so much, Vedron. Really appreciate the question. That was a really fun one. And thank you to all of you who submit questions or topics for us to discuss every week. And that does bring us to the end of our patron topics for this week. We do have a couple of more super chats to go through, and then we will head off to our patron exclusive post show. So Disney Duncan is back yet again with $2 more. Thank you so much for your generosity, pointing out that in Breath of the Wild, Lynels are immune to status effects. But I saw up earlier in our YouTube chat in our patron chat that Lynels can be stunned. So I can't remember, honestly.
Also, the Malboros have a lot more status effects to have access to than Link
that aren't in Zelda. The Lynel can't defend against status effects that literally don't exist in their world, right? So I still think it goes to Malboros.
Yeah, I just don't see a Lynel is so easy to kill when you think about it. Like you can shoot it in the face and that's enough to stun it. Like hitting it right in the face is enough to stun it. And then you could just sneak up behind it and climb on it and stab it repeatedly. So I don't know. I think it has too many exploitable weaknesses for me to say a Malboro won't.
Fair enough. I agree. Next up, Zubmer with $2. Thank you so much. Nell from Advanced Wars versus Olive from Astral Chain. I plead the fifth because I barely played Astral Chain and I have not played any Advance Wars.
I don't know what Olive is capable of in Astral Chain because it's been years since I played it, but Nell's just a regular dude, so I'm going to go with anybody from the world of Astral Chain takes him out.
That's kind of what I was leaning toward without having that much knowledge.
Like, Nell commands an army. If it's Olive versus Nell's army, then yeah, Olive's going to get killed. But if it's just a little boy and a cop, like, I'll just go for the cop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, Nell is also, the tutorial girl. It's a woman.
Oh, Nell's right. Gosh. I had my first Advance Wars experience like an hour ago, so I'm still coming to... I was thinking Axel?
Yeah.
What's his name? The boy with the wrench. I don't know.
That's Andy.
Andy, sorry.
Andy.
Nell, I still think Nell kind of gets taken out. She doesn't seem like she fights like herself.
Right.
She's just a tactician.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where it's at. It's just... it's a tactician versus a newscaster.
Ooh, gosh, okay. I take it back.
I'm looking at what Olive actually does.
I thought Olive was
radio
a
operator and
of
dispatcher. So
Nell has some basic combat
go with
training.
Nell in
I'm
that
assuming.
case.
Yeah, okay. It's got to be Nell then. She at least has, as you said, basic combat training. So yeah, well, that was a fun switch from there. All right, Disney Duncan again with $5. Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
The Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD are the only 3D Zelda games that are not playable on the Switch. Will they come after Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh man,
I'm so confident that Nintendo are just sitting on them, like they're done and they're ready, and they're just sitting on them for something.
So they just need to find the right time to release it that you don't take away from Tears of the Kingdom.
Right. I don't know.
I feel like you could easily launch those maybe in August and just say like, hey, if you loved Tears of the Kingdom, here's some more Zelda stuff to buy. You new bandwagon fan, just buy it all. Yeah. And I would, even though I'm not a bandwagon fan, I'd still buy it.
Right. It's been one of the longest running mysteries about the Switch's, release schedule, because we've talked about this so many times. And every time it's like, well, they got to be coming eventually, right? Yeah, they'll probably be here by X and X date, and it just keeps not happening. But I agree with you, Steve. Late summer seems about right. Maybe one in late summer, one during the holidays to kind of boost their holiday lineup. But
I almost think the smart way to do it is like a double pack at this point.
Yeah, that too. I think you might be right.
Charge me $60. Cool. Give me Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I'd pay $60 for those two together. I wouldn't pay them individually, but
it's hard to
Nintendo would charge me for them.
Oh, they totally
totally would charge you $60 individually.
Yeah, so definitely. Well, thank you for that, Duncan. And our last super chat of the day, Zoob Mayer is back with $2 more. Thank you so much. Cinnaholic recommendation: lemon frosting and raspberries. You know what? If I liked lemon, I'm sure I would love that. But I don't really like lemon, and raspberries are, I'm sorry, they're kind of mid to me. I love boysenberries and blueberries and strawberries, but raspberries I could go either way on, to be honest.
And raspberry is actually one of my favorite ice cream flavors. So
okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a subjective thing, but
honestly, it sounds pretty yummy to me. But I understand you though.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you for that. I'll have to keep that in mind next time I go to Cinnaholic, which it's been several months, so I think I've earned another one by now.
You need to send photo evidence.
Yes, will do. Well, with that said, that does bring us to the conclusion of episode 53 of the GVGcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. You know how much we love doing this with y'all every week. As always, we do have to give a special shout out to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to keep the lights on over here, because we couldn't do what we do without you. So thank you so much, truly. And also, as always, we have to give a extra special shout out to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those incredible, wonderful, stupendous folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedran, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Blindman, Azran127, Black King, Pagrima, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goran Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti. I haven't said this in a while, but no such thing. Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling.
Hi, Mom.
Mega Amster, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, Colin, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dat Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Kyle Gamer and Barry Rookie, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Lady Maxillary, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Jung Ant, Ryan, and last but certainly not least, Ryan Hanley. Thank you all so much for supporting everything we do. We could not possibly be appreciative enough. Thank you so much. As a quick reminder, our compatriots, Daniel and Brandon, stream several times a week now over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/officialgvg. So make sure to go check them out over there. They do super fun streams, and they also upload their VODs to Good VODs Gaming here on YouTube. So definitely check those out if that's your jam. That's it for us today. We're headed to our Patron exclusive post show. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.